Hi, it's Ari and welcome to the Ease of Elegance. Today we're going to be doing a super easy day to night transition for eye makeup and a little bit of lip. So it's going to be super simple, really beginner friendly, and using only cream shadows for our eyes. So I hope that you enjoy this tutorial. Okay, so step one for our daytime look is going to be lips. And I'm going to be using the Glossier berrybalm.com. If it wants to show up, there we go. This is one of my absolute favorites. And I'm doing this first just because my lips are chapped. There's really not a reason you could do this last, but my lips are in terrible shape right now, so we're using this first. And it comes out as like this really dark purple jelly, but when you apply it, it just kind of fades into your lip. And I need a little bit more. It just gives you like this nice tint. Okay, so now that I have that all smeared all over my lips, I am going to set that to the side. And my advice to you would be to have a paper towel handy when you're doing these looks, because we're using cream shadows and like a jelly finger application lip thing. To have a paper towel handy, that way you can wipe off your fingers. It just will make your life a little bit easier. You don't have to. You could just use different fingers and then wash your hands at the end, but like, why not make your life easier if you can? So then we're going to move on to our eyes. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Color Tattoo eyeshadow, cream eyeshadow in the shade Urbanite. And I'll get it out of its little box here and show it to you. This is how the front looks like, and then this is the actual color itself. So, oh, and you can hear my cat meowing in the background. I'm so sorry. So it's actually a little bit lighter than it looks on the back. Like on the back it looks a little bit darker than it looks on the front, like when you actually go to dip your finger into the pot. At least that's my opinion. So I'm going to zoom you in just a tiny bit here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So, and I'll be using my little mirror, which is right in front of me, so pardon my mirror using. So I'm just going to stick my finger in here, rub it around. This is going to be a super easy look. Really easy, no brushes, nothing like that. So, and you're just going to put it on your eyelid. And just smear it like with little kind of like tap and smear motions, and then tap it in at the end just to make sure it's nice and applied. And I need a little bit more, so I'm going to just dip back in and apply all over the lid, and I'm going up into the crease to blend. That way it kind of gives like a transition shade for later when we do the crease itself. And just pat it at the end. And as you can see, it gives just a nice kind of oomph to the eye. Nothing too crazy. And then we're going to do the other eye. Same thing. Just little smears and then taps. And I really love this shade because you could wear it like just completely by itself. So I could stop here if I wanted to and put on a little mascara, or not put on any mascara, because that's what I've been doing lately, is just not wearing mascara. So you could just stop here entirely if you wanted to, and just have like a really natural no makeup look happening. I mean, you could do your brows and stuff too, but you could stop here if you really wanted to have just like a really fresh, easy daytime look, like super easy. So then we're going to pick up our next shade, which is from Supergoop. It is the Shimmer Shade Broad Spectrum Sunscreen SPF 30 Cream Shadow in the shade Sunset. And here is the actual color of it. It's like this kind of golden brown color. And we're going to take said golden brown, just a little bit goes a really long way, and just pop it into the side, like the outer corner of your eye, and then blend it into the crease, just to add a little extra dimension. And I love cream shadows because they're super duper easy, and I can just literally use my finger and put it exactly where I want it to go. So, and you can add on a little bit more too if you want. And you can just build that color however you want it to be, which is the beauty of a cream shadow. And if you have good cream shadows like these ones, they're not going to crease on you. They're going to last pretty much the entire day, especially if you do kind of the swiping and patting method of application. So then we're going to wipe off our finger and do the same thing on the other side. And I just literally just tap it into place. That way I have the placement correct on the outside of my eye. And then we're going to blend into the crease. And it's so easy. I can't get over how easy it is. I'm all about easy. I don't like, I mean, every once in a while there's a time and a place for complicated makeup looks, but I think that you can make really beautiful looks without trying super duper hard. Which sounds bad, but like everybody is so just naturally pretty. Like if you're just enhancing the features you already have, it should be that easy. Like it really should be. So then I'm going to go in and do my brows, and I'm going to be using the Glossier Boy Brow Grooming Pomade in the shade Blonde. It doesn't want to focus, but that's okay. It's all right. You know what it is. It's this little itsy bitsy tube. And actually, I'm going to start by combing out my brows because that would make sense. And you're just going to use a little spoolie and comb out your brows. Nothing too crazy. Just combing them out so that they're ready for the pomade. And then what I like to do is wipe the tip off because sometimes there's a little bit too much product on here when you first pull it out of the tube. So then you just go in and go upward motions, upward and outward, and add just a little extra oomph to your brows. And it just kind of fluffs them up a little bit. There we go. Oop. There we go. Okay, so that's one brow done. And then we'll do the other brow. And just little upward, outward motions. Nothing too crazy or fancy here. And for the daytime look, we're not even going to fill in the brows. We're literally just going to leave it like this. Well, not like this because this looks a little crazy, but once we're done combing through the product, we'll just leave it. And I gotta just fix this side a little bit here. Wow, today my good brow doesn't want to cooperate. That's crazy. Usually this is my good brow, but it doesn't want to be my good brow today. Clearly. But if you have better brows than me, this will look better. it'll look more like this guy. You know what? I'm just going to use my spoolie and comb through. There we go. Okay. That's a little bit better now. Alrighty. We fixed it. Everything's fine. So, then the last touch is just going to be the mascara. And my tip is to put on barely any. So, I've got my mascara wand here. What I'm going to do is zoom you in and show you exactly how I'm going to do this. So, and please pardon my terrible brows. I'm growing them out right now, so just be nice. So, we're going to kind of lower our eye and touch just to the tips, just the very tips of the eyelashes. Because we don't want it to look like we're wearing a ton of mascara, and we just want a little bit of a base, because later on in the night, we're going to go out and change this look a little bit. So we can always add more mascara, but it's hard to take mascara away. Same with cutting your hair. Like, you can always cut more off, but you can't put it back on once you've cut it off. So then we're going to do the same thing, other side. Just barely touching the tips of the lashes. And this makes your eyes look a little bit bigger too, because it creates the illusion that your eye starts further up because your lashes aren't starting all the way down at the base of the root. If that makes any sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but it makes your eyes look bigger to do it this way. Okay. So now that we have our mascara on, we are basically finished. And I'll show you here what we look like when we're done. Okay. So you're all set for your day now. Hopefully you have on sunscreen. You should always have on sunscreen. I prepped my skin with a layer of skincare and then sunscreen. So I used an Elta MD sunscreen today, and then I did a Supergoop sunscreen powder on top of that. So that's what I have like on my skin, but as far as your look goes, you're finished. Alrighty, so now it is nighttime. It's not really when I'm filming this, but we're gonna say it's nighttime for the sake of the look. And we're going to take this daytime look that we did and transition it into something that you could wear out at night. So I will zoom you in a little here and we'll get started. Okay, now that we're nice and close up to each other, I'm going to start off by putting a dark shade in my outer corner, and just to kind of create more of like a smoked, darker effect on the eye. And I'm going to be using the Revlon Color Stay Cream Eyeshadow in the shade 720 Chocolate. And you can see it's like a very deep chocolatey color, and this one is super duper pigmented, so just proceed with caution. I'm going to just get a little bit on my finger here. As you can see, like I barely touched this and it comes off like this. So it's going to get a little tricky because we already have mascara on, but we're going to close our eye all the way and tap this into the outer corner. And we're just going to tap, 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 tap. And you see it's a little bit darker now, but I don't think that's quite enough. So I'm going to add a little bit extra. And we're not going to take this up into the crease because we already have something happening in the crease from before. We already have a darker shade in there. We're just going to be darkening the outer corner just to make a little bit more of a like sultry, sexy kind of vibe happening on the eyes. And we're just going to tap that in here. You can go into the crease, but like we're not focusing on the crease, if that makes sense. So now that we have something a little bit darker happening here, and do that same thing on the other side because we want to be even, of course. And we're just going to tap that color in, and then we'll blend it with our finger. Get a little bit more, and tap, tap, tap. Tap and blend, tap and blend. And you can blend it up into the crease too. Like when I say we're not focusing on the crease, I just mean we're not taking this shade like all the way into the crease. Like the purpose of this is not to focus on the crease, it's to focus on that outer edge. And I'm just gonna go back through and blend a little bit better. Okay, so we have that a little bit darker now, a little bit more sultry, a little bit more ready for drinks or the club or dinner, whatever it is that you do with your nighttime, pre-pandemic or post-pandemic. Hopefully we'll be post-pandemic soon, and we can actually wear these looks out to do something other than sit at home and drink wine and wish for the pandemic to be over. So then I'm going to go in with my Color Tattoo cream eyeshadow in the shade Socialite, which I just dropped the lid on the floor, but it's fine. It's this color. It's like this rose gold kind of creamy, pretty pinkish color that I love. And that's going to go in the center of our lid, just to kind of brighten the eye a little bit, open it up, and to blend this darker color into the rest of the eye look. So I'm just going to dip my finger in here, and it's going to go right smack in the middle, and it's just going to blend in with the rest. And I'm going to bring it all the way into the corner, but barely. It's going to be strongest in the center, just like that. And same thing, other side, of course. Just gonna get that nice and blended in. And then once it's blended, we're gonna add a little extra. So a little extra to the middle, we can just pat it right in. Just the middle of the lid, just to add a little extra sparkle. And we can just pat, 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 and this is going to be really concentrated on the middle of the lid. Okay, so there we go. That's our eyeshadow. And then we're going to pencil in our brows ever so slightly. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim pencil in the shade Blonde. I think that's the shade. It's either blonde or light blonde. Nope, blonde. Okay. In the shade Blonde. Trying to get this to focus, and it does not want to. Come on, focus. Okay, anyway, it's it's just a really tiny little pencil. It's just very slim, and I like it for that. And I'll zoom you in a little bit more here so you can see what I'm doing to my brows. And I'm just going to ever so slightly pencil them in, just to add a little extra definition. And just to fill in those gaps where it gets a little bit more sparse. And we can just do this right over top of the brow gel that we have in already. That's totally fine. And we're just gonna fill in, just to add a little extra oomph to the brow, and then comb it out to make sure everything is evenly distributed. And we're really gonna comb out on this inner corner of the brow, just to make sure that nothing is too heavy there because we still want it to look somewhat natural. We don't want it to be like a block of color on the brow. And then the same thing, other side. Just adding that tiniest little bit of definition. I like to go under the brow first and then fill in from under. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but basically I make this line under my brow and then I fill in what's above it. And you'll notice that I'm using little hair-like strokes just to make things look a little bit more natural. And this brow is way too dark, so it is time to comb it out. And just soften it up a little bit. That's another thing you can do too. If you notice your brow is too dark or you're a little too heavy-handed, which I am super heavy-handed with my brows and I need to not be, but I just am. If you brush it like crazy, it's going to soften it up. Okay, so that is our penciled in brows. And I will zoom you back out again, because the last thing that we're going to do is our lips. So actually, that is not the last thing we're going to do. Sorry, we need to add a little extra mascara. Just a little extra to the tips, just to add like a second coat, just so that your eyelashes stand out a little bit more. Sorry about that. Totally forgot that step, even though it's important. Because going from day to night, especially with no eyeliner, you really want to make sure that your lashes are looking good and fluffy and happy. So we're going to take our paper towel that we've been using to wipe our fingers off on, and we're going to wipe off our lips. So I like to do that just to make sure that there's no gloss or anything or pigment or anything like that left on the lips. But also it helps to remove dead skin too. So I'm going to go in with my Dior, I don't know what this is called, Dior Addict Lip Tattoo in the shade Natural Cherry. It's this guy. And, ooh, I have a thing on my lip. Okay. I had an eyelash that fell down on my lip. Anyway, I'm going to take this guy, and it's this really bright pink, but it's a lip stain, and I love it for that because you can make it more sheer or you can make it more pigmented. So I'm just going to put a little bit on and then rub it into place where I want it to be. And I'm going to do a little bit on each side of my Cupid's bow and on the center of my bottom lip, and then kind of perfect from there. And I'm just going to use my finger. And as you can see, I need a little bit more on the corners of my mouth. Okay, there we go. And then we wipe our finger off because it's going to be super stained from the lip stain. And that is our nighttime look. So we are ready to put on our cocktail dress or our fancy tank top and some nice jeans or whatever it is that you're going to do tonight, or, just be ready to sip some wine at home during our pandemic time and you're ready for your nights. Thanks so much for watching this day to night makeup transition tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. And thanks again so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.